Hi everyone, and I hope you're all doing good. And thanks for watching our videos. I'm here with Kiran today, one of our registered migration agents, and he has more than 5-year experience in this industry. So we decided to talk about state nomination because lately we're getting a lot of inquiries about 491 and 190 visas. There seems to be two popular state sponsored skill visas in Australia. For example, as I mentioned before, 491 and 190. Firstly, I would like to ask about 190 visa.
Sure, Sanju. I'll tell you about the 190 visa. Look, in my mind, this is one of the most, I wouldn't say most preferred, but it's a preferred visa in Australia, a skilled visa. And if you ask me why, I would tell you that once it's granted, it's a permanent residency visa. It does come with a condition, but in my mind, it's not a very serious condition because it's the condition is that you've got to spend 2 years of living and working in the state in which you've applied. So that's basically the condition. So I don't think that's a very, it hasn't got too many constraints as such, right, compared to some of the other visas. Now, this particular visa, it's point-based, firstly. You have to get nominated by the state. So you cannot just go and apply, up front. You've got to be nominated first. Once you get nominated, then you're eligible to apply this visa. This particular visa, if you look at the steps involved in it, firstly, one would put an expression of interest, right? That you are interested in applying for this particular visa. You have to be very aware of the Department of Home Affairs requirements, firstly. Then also, not just that, you have to be aware of the state that you're applying in. You've got to be aware of what are their rules, because they've all got different eligibility rules. Right? So one's got to be very aware, and you've got to make sure you abide by that as well. And you've got to wait for an invite. Without an invite, you cannot move ahead. Once you get an invite, you are then allowed to apply for this visa. Now, also, I must tell you that the 190, because it's one of the preferred visas, it's restricted in terms of allocations from the state, from the the government to the states. So there's limited number of visas allocated to them. Yeah. So that's why it's quite competitive, and you find that only very high caliber people and people with very high points will actually get an invite here. So, one's going to be a bit wary about that as well, that if you want to try and apply for this visa, you have to aim for the highest number of points. Okay. And the cherry on the top here is that if you do get nominated by a state, they grant you 5 extra points on your application.
Oh.
So that is a plus point.
All right. So how about the skilled work regional subclass 491 visa?
The 491 now, Sanju, that's firstly, I must tell you, it's a regional visa, right? And let me just give you a little bit of background as to, the regional visas, why they were introduced in Australia. Australia was having a bit of a problem, in the past and historically, whereby most migrants who came here wanted to be obviously in the big cities, right? And you found the big cities were getting a bit inundated with overpopulation, infrastructure problems, transport problems, etc. Right? And by the same token, what was happening was the regions were battling. Yeah. You found that they were not getting the right skilled people, their populations were either stagnant or in some cases even going lower than what it was previously. Yeah. So that was an issue. So the department has actually introduced these visas to encourage people to go to these particular smaller places and the regions as well. So that was the reasoning behind this.
Reason behind 491.
Exactly. That's right. And some of the other regional visas as well, which obviously we might talk about at some later stage.
Yeah.
Right. But we're talking more specifically of the 491 at the moment. Okay. So with this particular visa, what they've done is they've introduced it. It's a 5-year span. So the visa is for 5 years, right? Initially, it's stacked with some conditions, right? And there's quite a few conditions to this visa, right? And what the department says is that you've got to comply with these conditions for a period of at least 3 years within your 5 years. Right? So you've got to comply with it. If you ask me what are the conditions, there are many, but I think the main conditions here are, firstly, you've got to be living and working in a regional area. That's one of the main conditions. The second main condition is that you've got to be earning a minimum salary as well. And that's in the region of about 53,900, I believe, right, that you're going to be earning as well. And thirdly, the other constraint put on to these applicants is that you cannot apply for certain other visas. If you've got the 491 granted to you, you cannot apply for certain visas such as the 189, the 190 visa, and even partner visas, believe it or not. Right? You cannot even apply for those, right? Okay. And then if you look at the 491 visas, it's point-based. You've got to make sure that your occupation is on the relevant lists, whether it's the department's list or whether it's on the state list. It's got to be there for you to apply. Right? And it's by invitation only. So again, only when you get invited can you apply for this visa. Right? And also I need to mention that the nomination here is one of two things. You could be nominated by the state or even by an eligible relative as well. Right. So either of the two can nominate you.